This is from 49 days ago. Pastafarian marriage? Hey, folks, I'm getting married on August 19th, and we want to make a Pastafarian celebration.
So this hasn't happened yet, this wedding.
2 weeks away.
This wedding.
Yeah.
Wait, it has happened now, maybe, when this episode's come out. No?
Yeah, it might be it might be the weekend the episode comes out.
So this is like, wow, this is happening.
Okay.
This wedding is happening right now as we speak, as you're listening to this.
We are this is going to make you all sick, and I apologize to the listeners. I apologize to Tom, Dan, and Chris. Read this sentence. We are going to be dressed as pirates with colanders. There will be a feast with a lot of spaghetti and meatballs, and an ordinated friend will celebrate. I plan to play some pirate songs with some friends too. The only thing we didn't decide yet is what our friends will say for the celebration. And maybe we are missing something important too. Do you have any suggestions? And this last little piece is
I do. Just stick a pin.
the Christian thing. It's fine. It's fine to do the Christian thing. But in the end, they say this, and this is very interesting to me. Just making clear that we are in Brazil. Now, Brazil is a hotbed of Pastafarianism.
Wow.
Really? Okay. I mean, Brazil's very religious.
I mean,
right?
there are.
It's a very religious place, so maybe that's the reason why that there's like more of a pushback against it and more of a mockery of it because it's so prevalent in people's lives. That's possible.
Yeah, same with Poland, which has a church, right?
Yeah. Poland and Australia and Brazil seem to be the places. India has a Pastafarian restaurant and it sells pizza, but that kind of doesn't match. But I guess you are supposed to eat pizza. They said.
Are you sure that's connected?
That pizza sucks.
Is their thing like some sort of perverse version of Etal, like how the Rastafarians like have a very strict eating code that's vegan and like they don't. A lot of them won't eat salt or oil and stuff like that.
No,
I think it's theirs that they just have to eat like pasta products. Or
no, it's just that they wore a colander on their head and they Pastafarian sounded kind of funny. I believe is probably that's how deep it is. I believe.
Like,
yeah,
I'll go out on a limb here. I don't think there's a single Italian in this organization. I don't think.
No,
you know what I mean?
You're right. And I don't think there's any Rastafarians either.
Not them either, yeah.
No.
Here's a reply to that question for everybody. You know how people will do a candle ceremony, parentheses, light a candle together to symbolize the couple coming together, or a sand ceremony, parentheses, pour different sands in a jar together to symbolize the same thing, or even a shot ceremony, first shot together as a couple. When I ordain weddings, I like to do a spaghetti ceremony. You essentially lady in the tramp of spaghetti to symbolize the flying spaghetti monster bringing you two together.
This guy might be joking around.
I don't think so. And I feel sorry for the families of these people.
If I was doing a shot ceremony, I do just want to say, if I were doing a shot ceremony for my wedding, it'd have to be Pappy.
Well, you're not supposed to imbibe Pappy in shots, but I would do. I mean, it's the only alcohol.
Exactly, Brian. That's what I was going to say. I know you're not supposed to technically, but what am I supposed to do? As we discussed, it's the only liquids that we drink or use for anything is Pappy Van Winkle.
You cook with Pappy Van Winkle.
Yeah, it's important.
Pappy. That's what we said on one of the Guys Plus episodes. That like think about any liquid in your life, that we use Pappy for that. Brian and I.
Brush your teeth. Yeah.
We found out about a guy that in Kentucky got actually in trouble and isn't allowed to get Pappy anymore because he made Jello shots with it.
He made Jello shots with Pappy, but he was making like a statement. Speaking of like a statement, like these Pastafarians, he was like kind of saying, hey, it's just all like we were discussing. Hey, it's not that great. It's too hyped up. And to sort of show that, I'm going to put it in Jello shots, and like just make my money back, $10 Jello shots or whatever. But yeah, Pappy didn't like that. Pappy said, no more Pappy for you, baby.
Well, Unmissed said, I always wanted to do a hand fasting using a very long, probably handmade noodle that seems appropriately Pastafarian.
Sorry, what?
I don't know what a hand fasting is.
I don't know what to do. Either of you guys know?
I've never heard of that.
No.
Well, now he says, revise the vows to be piratey. I'll read it in pirate voice again. Do ye swears to abide by the code, take the tiller in times of storm, draw cutlass and stand back to back when ninjas attack.
So I do have something on that. I'm glad you brought up the hand fasting thing, not to go back to it. Hand fasting is an ancient Celtic ritual in which the hands are tied together to symbolize the binding of two lives. So it's you're wrapping fucking spaghetti around your wrist and your wife's wrist.
Yeah. So you got to get some of you got to get that you got to get that super special strong spaghetti for that. And you got to cook it perfect. You got to cook it a little less than you normally would. You can't be al dente for that.
Yeah, it got to be a little north of al dente.
Yeah, exactly.
Just your fucking father there watching through his hand like this.
No. Your family's not
there. Yeah,
they're not there.
They've already forsaken you by this.
Yeah, they don't talk to you anymore. No.
Well, it's funny you say that's like a Celtic thing because one archetype that these people remind me of are like the Boondock Saints guys that you know, they got really into the Red Sox and they only drink Guinness, and like Boondock Saints was their favorite movie.
We're getting a little close to my neck of the woods here. This is
I definitely grew up with some people who were just like, I never got it with Boondock Saints. I was always like, this doesn't hit for me the way it does for some of you guys, but I had friends who were like, this is the greatest shit ever. My life is now revolves around Boondock Saints.
Listen, we cannot possibly get into this, but when you're doing the episode on plastic patties, you hit me up and we'll talk that out.
Well, Mick Eckett has a question on colanders, so let's hear a little colander talk here. My dear Pastafarian brothers and sisters, and by the way, Tom, your disgust when he said ninjas is just so perfect for me, because that's how I felt when I read stand back to back against ninjas.
Well, they're throwing a dart in like a comic book store. It's ricocheting off everything, right?
Yeah.